and I was so angry. I turned around and I kicked him as hard as I could, right in the arsehole.
In a world desperate to tear itself apart, only one man, and some other people, stand in the way of total destruction. Together they will right the wrongs, make bad good, and single-handedly destroy evil, together. Who is this man, you may ask? This man is Geoff.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Geoff Jones and Friends Make a Better podcast. I'm here with Simon and Ross from Who Takes the Socks Off? Who Takes the Sock Off podcast.
Socks off.
It is socks. So it's multiple socks, but one. Who takes?
It's multiple. It's multiple amputated legs.
It's multiple.
Who takes the socks off of the legs?
Do you know what? I've had a couple more beers since I said it the first time.
It's really nice to be back.
It's nice to be back. Yeah. Do you know what? I remember.
It's been a hot minute.
We were not so long ago. We were talking about, talking with Ross, obviously, about him murdering bad parkers and who pretend to have children stuffed in their boot in Tesco's. His Tesco's, no one else's Tesco's.
Tesco specifically, yeah.
This may happen at other Tesco's, but I'm talking about my personal experience. I'm talking about my trauma.
Your trauma at the big Tesco's. This is your truth. That was your truth.
That's it. That's it. Speaking my truth.
That's it.
That's what I was trying to find.
And so, Simon, come on, we've gone back to back. What is it that we are now making better?
Well, I've had to really work at narrowing this down because I'm old and grumpy as but I'm plumping for the over competitive parents because they're just the worst people in the world. They are the worst type of people.
Are you a parent of sport playing children?
I am a parent of 3 children of my own who are about as sporty as, I don't know, Jimmy Tarbuck. That's an old reference for you. Bloody hell. Shows you how old I am. As well.
I love that. That was the first you were searching, and the first thing that came to your mind was Jimmy Tarbuck. Says a lot about a person. Carry on.
Yeah, no, I'm really worried. But my girlfriend's little boy does play hockey. He plays for the local team, and I did athletics as a child, so I saw it in other parents. My dad was never like that. He was more like, "Are you finished?" But you get these. The instance I go to begin with really is sports day experiences.
Oh,
that's where you see them the most. Is like the parents. So the parents that turn up to their child's sports day wearing running gear.
Yeah, I know. Oh,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
they're just
often part of the PTA.
Usually
can't trust
part
them.
of the PTA. Yeah,
can't trust PTA at all. They're a mafia,
and they. This is a genuine example from today because my other half went to her little boy's sports day today, and there was a woman shouting about tactics to her child in the egg and spoon race. And you see it? She's like, yes, genuinely, she's shouting about tactics. What?
We've been working on this
egg and spoon race.
I'd like to know that. I mean, like angles, maybe. The
obvious one is to just stick your thumb on top of the egg, right?
Oh yeah,
that's the obvious one.
Hard boil the egg, glue it to the spoon, job done.
Yeah.
Oh, see, I've had kids. They've all
the egg doesn't move.
I've had 2 daughters who have both played football for teams. I've had 2 daughters. I have 2 daughters, and previously in their lives,
I've swapped them now for 2 other children.
It drives me mad. Just the amount of anger and like excitement, positive cheering. Yeah, you know what? If something goes well and you cheer because that's supportive, you want them to feel good about themselves, and yes, try hard and try and win. But ultimately, no one cares. No one really cares. And you guys, people are just aggressive and shouting and they can spoon race.
I know, I couldn't believe it. Just, I mean,
Oh.
I'd seen some stuff when I was taking my kids to sports days years ago, and I think competition is healthy for kids. I'm not a big believer in the whole here's an award for coming.
Yeah.
Well, that's a
I've
different
got
story.
many of those.
Here's an award for coming to sports day. The participation award for me, up to a certain age, yeah, it's quite nice because it encourages them to do it more and so on. Once you get to key stage 2, maybe you want to be seeing a little bit of competition. I don't think there's anything wrong with the kids that can compete winning, as long as the other kids are included. I think that's fine. But what you don't need is Jenny on the sideline in a lycra screaming at a 10-year-old to what the are you doing? You should be ahead of it by now. It's like, what is wrong with you?
We've trained all year for this sports day.
Yeah. Remember the training. Don't go out too early. Hold back. Do you know what I mean? It's like, what?
One
of the worst ones. I think boys football is really bad for this, and it's. I mean, the dads are bad, but some of the mums are worse. But one of the simultaneously funny and disgusting and terrifying things is seeing a parent call somebody else's 8-year-old child a at the top of their voice during an under-9s football match. It's one of the most insane things you'll ever see. It's like
a parent called in
along the lines of, "You should be passing the ball to my boy, you." And it's just like they're 8 years old. And sorry to take over your question a bit, Simon, but
Carry on.
I was watching a podcast. I think it was last week or the week before, and Gary Lineker was on there talking about. Yeah, we spoke about this in the office, and Gary Lineker basically saying, "Don't do it. There's no need. You are more likely to terrify the child about failure, shouting at them. You should be doing this. Blah, blah, blah. You'll never make the grade if you keep playing like that." And 99% of the time, what you're shouting at them is wrong. I mean, this Gary Lineker, fantastic striker in his day, knows football inside and out. And there was one example he said of he heard a dad shouting at his, son, "You'll never make the grade if you keep playing like this." And Gary Lineker was like, "I've watched him play for about 10 minutes. He'd never make the grade anyway." It is just a madness. I think football at all levels, and you see now in the news about the hate that's chucked online at footballers and things like that, and that's learned behavior. And I think that starts at those ages where you've got parents screaming at their children playing football. I don't want my kids to play competitive sport like that if people are going to start shouting at them like that, because it's disgusting. And if you shout at my kid like that, I'm going to lump you. I don't care if you're a mum.
Another side of this, sorry. My partner's little boy, he plays hockey, as I said, and we recently went to, they put a call out to, who wants to be involved in this tournament. And it was a national tournament, and it was in Derby, of all places, which is the least fun place to be in the world. They're one of their big attractions is a velodrome. That's which incidentally goes around the outside of the hockey pitch. And he basically, he plays hockey. He's not massively confident. He's not going to set the hockey world alight unless he gets a lot of practice in. And we don't have a garden. It's tricky for him to get enough practice. But he likes playing. He enjoys it.
Yeah.
He's tried rugby. He didn't really enjoy that because his dad's a big rugby player, or was, and he really enjoys hockey. And we spent quite a substantial amount of money to go and stay in Derby, made a weekend of it. took him to the tournament, and I think they played 7 games, and before the last game, he played 5 minutes of hockey.
Yeah.
Because 2 of the boys on the team belong to one of the coaches. Another boy on the team is from one of the other coaches. And at the start, they did this big speech about, it doesn't matter if we win or lose. We're all just here to have fun.
Yeah.
And like the other tournaments he's done, to their credit, they've involved all the players. They've put them on for a certain amount of time. And it's been great, and he's really enjoyed it. But this one, he was in tears. He was in floods of tears for the last game because he'd literally played 5 minutes of hockey all morning, and they hadn't put him on. And I'm like, but bear in mind, by this point, they'd already lost all but one of their games. Why not just throw him on for the last couple of games and let him play a full match? I mean, you're not going to end up any better off without him. Do you know what I mean? So there's that side of it as well, in that,
favoritism and the clickiness.
But also the fact that he's 9 years old. Who needs to be that competitive at 9 years old?
And do you pay for him to play?
Well, there's a bit of a bone of contention there. But yes, they want 30 quid for him to have played in the tournament.
Right.
Like,
but for training and stuff like that, do you
pay? There's a like membership fee, and he pays, I think they pay him out of session and so on. And that's fine, because in the training sessions he gets to play, he gets to have fun.
That's it. But when it comes to playing match games, and you've got to pay for that as well. So when my daughters played football, they were 2 different abilities. One very competitive and kind of had that natural skill, and the other one was just so happy to be involved, but wanted to be involved and would give more than anyone else, even if not the most naturally gifted. And so my other daughter would go, and she was the top striker at the club, and it was great. And we'd travel up and down the country, and it was fun. My other daughter would play a lot less minutes, and it's like, look, you want money from me to go towards referees and the pitch and everything, right? You want more players. It's rolling subs, so it's not like it's you only get two subs or 3 subs, whatever it is. Like, just make sure everyone gets equal time. If you got your main core players, that's fine, but make sure everyone else gets time, because they're at an age where actually game time is important for their growth and their benefit. And you're paying for the privilege to be there. Sorry, Russ?
It being fun is huge in the development of wanting to play the game or whatever sport it is, and the development there. Because if it's not fun, kids will shut down and they'll just quit.
Exactly.
And only the people with the pushiest parents who force them to carry on will still go, and then they'll begrudge going, and then they'll resent it, and then they'll resent their parents, and then they'll be assholes in their adult life as well.
And
generalizing here.
And they'll park in Tesco's in the children's bay just to get back at their parents.
Yeah.
But
you're f***ing right.
What's also about that is you build them up. Like you were saying about, you'll never make the grade if you don't, if you don't get better, if you don't try harder. Well, you're putting all this on them, and then what if they don't make the grade? So I don't know about hockey and many other sports, but I know obviously in football, the amount of kids that get signed up to an academy, and then when they hit kind of 14, 15, 16, right, we can't sign you because you're not good enough, so we'll see you later then. And all their parents have done is give them this belief that they're going to go on to be the next best thing. And now it's like, oh, okay, well, first of all, hope you've got an education to fall back on, or you're not completely crushed from that you're actually going to go through years of depression and have to rebuild yourself and your relationship with your parents. And what's that going to look like now? Like, without getting too, kind of morbid about the whole thing, but it is, when it comes to children and playing sports, I am very protective, because I think it should be fun first. Right, okay. No, so it should be learning the basics. If you're at a club, the main thing is they learn how to play the game and how to play it properly. then incorporate the fun into that, and then you play the games and you kind of coach them during games. This is what you should be. Not why aren't you doing that? It's coaching through the games. Like my son, one of my boys, he goes to this kind of football in the community thing on a Monday night. It's not great, but he loves it because it's football and he just wants to play football, and so he's playing football. But they don't really coach in. Yeah, they teach them some basics, and then they just say, right, go have a match, and they don't coach them in the game. And it annoys the crap out of me. So I am actually one of the parents who's like, Mark, okay, they've got the book. You can't, I kind of give him pointers because he wants pointers, and the coaches aren't doing that because there are a couple of kids
and calling them names.
No, I'm saying there's 3 people between you and the ball. How's he going to get it if you're goal langing? You fucking idiot. No, it's no. It's just like push.
It's fine to call 10-year-old. Right?
So Gary Lineker managed it for years.
Yeah, that's it. But no, I would totally agree with you guys that it just knocks the fun out. But also the coaches have got, and like what a coach wants to win, but unless they're looking to go on and do big things professionally, what does it matter if their group of 10-year-olds doesn't win against another group of 10-year-olds or 8-year-olds or 12? Like, who cares?
That was the irony of the whole thing, was this whole massive speech they gave at the start about, it's all about having fun. That's why we're here. Yeah, okay.
But
it was just a bit.
Except for you and you and you.
Yeah, because I'm going to make my kids. And what kind of pressure is that put on their own kids? You're going to play every minute of every game. Why have we lost 6 out of 7 games? Oh,
yeah.
You weren't good enough during these games.
Yeah.
This is
going back
a different tone to the last conversation, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, let's bring it back a little bit. Going back to the other type of competitive parents, the ones who turn up to sports day in the lycra. I always feel like, they're the ones who always, as you say, they're part of the PTA, they're part of the perfect family. There's husband, wife, 2 kids, little girl, little boy. They're all perfect. They cycle everywhere. They help out in every single community thing going on. What the is actually going on in their family? There's got to be some hideous dark secret somewhere behind that plastic facade of perfection. There's got to be.
It's definitely threesomes.
I think it's worse than that.
Oh, really?
I think it's got to be worse than that. No one's that perfect. It's got to be, I don't know, there's got to be drugs involved and illicit gambling and, multiple partners, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe all rolled into one.
They're desperately miserable, so they have to show the world that they are really functioning well. But then when it comes to their kids in competitive sports, they go over the top because they actually have no idea how to act in public and how real people act.
This is it. Yeah, everything's a social media facade. So they're always seen to be in the right places at the right times and be part of the community. And
they want their kids to have the gold medal because it will look good on Facebook or whatever.
Yeah. And there's something going on at the pub. They're always there. They're always the faces that are there. You see them cycling past on a Sunday morning, going out for a family bike ride.
Oh, I hate that.
And it's just like, there's something dark.
They've definitely hit their kids with a belt to get them out of bed in the morning. But we don't want to go for a ride. You are going for a ride.
After they've taken the straps off their arms and legs.
Obviously, You will, and they've dosed them up with some uppers. So be like, you're right, you will cycle and you will smile. And if I get my camera out, you best be smiling.
Yeah. It's like an episode of The Truman Show every time they go past the house.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's smiling as they go past.
Right. We're coming up to Susan's house, everyone. Smile. You're having fun. Oh, forced family fun. My God, I hate it so much. Oh, my God.
Can you think of anything worse? But yeah, they just, I'd be incredibly fucking disappointed if there wasn't some dark secret behind it all.
Yeah.
If they weren't like international drug smugglers or something, or I don't know, just something really dark.
But let's face it, because everyone is a little up. Every family's a little up. Everyone's got a skeleton or two. Everyone's got stuff which isn't perfect. Yeah. Everyone knows this. So the people who act like everything is perfect ain't fooling anybody. Like, we know there's something, and we will sit here on a podcast and we will believe that you're probably child traffickers because no one has that perfect life, right?
I mean, we're near the coast as well, so be the perfect, you know.
Exactly. I mean, yeah, we've got one down our road, and everyone's like, you know, and she takes kids and they do this and they do that. I know, right? She calls me. She's like, "All right, mate." Right, every day I see her, every single day for about 8 years. I've seen, or every Monday to Friday, kids to school every single day. Our kids know each other. They get on really well, right? I've taken her kids to school. She's taken my kids to school. She calls me mate. Because I know she ain't got a clue what my name is. all right, mate. I'm like, yeah, that's don't get me wrong, I don't know her name, but I've made it a point not to. My wife knows her name. I've made it a point not to know her name because
the wrong name.
Susan.
Oh, that'd be good.
What's her name?
Susan. I don't know.
It doesn't.
You don't know her name.
I could easily find out though.
Yeah.
But
can you imagine if you called her the wrong name? If you called her the wrong name and she just went with it,
because like if her name's, if her name's,
I'd love that.
If her name's Kirsten or Kristen, use the other.
Use the wrong
one because they fucking hate that.
They hate.
All right, Kirsten. It's Kristen.
I do. My wife knows the name, but they're those kind of people, and you're like. And everyone's, even my wife's like, oh, look, you know, they go off and the perfect family. Like, so for starters,
Instagram perfect.
One of the kids' football coaches turns up pretty, like in the morning, like it's a school day, and I see before school, one of the kids' football coaches turn up, right? I'm like, an affair. She's having an affair. He's going out there. All right, kids. Yeah, your dad's going to work. Is sorry, I just missed him. I just need to talk to your mum about some training tactics. Like it's 100%. So I pretty much have told everyone in my street she's having an affair. Because why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I?
Right.
Whether they believe me or not.
Who's having an affair? You know.
Yeah,
Kristen.
Susan. Yeah, Kristen. Do you mean Kirsten? I'll say what I want. But
yeah.
She annoys me, but also I realize how petty it is because I don't know her name either. But the fact she says, "All right, mate," just I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is.
Just like I don't know, learn some like roadman greetings and just hit her with those, and then she'll faint it. She'll faint in all the house prices. The house prices. There's a roadman on the streets.
I'll start wearing a balaclava around.
Yeah.
I don't. We've got a home for people who require extra help in living abilities. I don't know what the official name is, but you know,
you really did.
Ross, no. You really
did do diversity training, didn't you?
I did do diversity training, but it's pretty much almost opposite their house, and you can guarantee that every other week there's a guy walking outside the house with no trousers on. And he's just like marching around, living his best life, talking to cats, and everyone else is just like, there he goes, having the best time of his life. She's mad about it, just mad. Like, you can come and get him. Everyone else is like, let him be free. He's living his best life. Look, the cats love him.
It's not like he's doing helicopter in front of the school.
He's not. He's got a very small pair of undies on. He's not leaving much to the imagination, and he's not well kept. He's not well kept downstairs, but that's okay. You don't expect him to be, because there's only so far. I'm assuming a carer or a helper will go to make someone comfortable.
It looks like buckwheat wearing a balaclava. Is that what you're saying?
That's it. You know, like it's almost like his nether regions are still afraid of COVID, right? But that's fine. That's his life.
Yeah.
I love the fact that he does march outside our house though, and that's because I'm petty. Because I hate people who think they're perfect.
Yeah, agreed.
I also agree.
So there is another side to this. So
Yeah,
the other side of the overly competitive parents are the ones that. So I'm assuming, hopefully, you're a fan of the Fast Show,
obviously.
and they had over competitive dad on that, didn't they? And it's those guys who are like, "Come along, Toby, no, bowl the ball," and he smacks it as hard as he can, as far as he can. Right, go on. Starts running backwards and forwards, getting as many runs as he can. And, come on, got the ball. Yeah, and it's like the kids who play football with their kids, and like the kids get about 2 touches in an hour because the dad's going, "Oh, can you get it? Can you get it?" Hey! Just keeping the ball.
Yeah,
I mean,
the kids, the kids who think they're Ronaldo. It's the kids that they think they're Ronaldo and Messi, and they don't pass. But then no one picks them up. No one says, "No, it's a team sport. Pass the goddamn ball." It's.
I used to 2-foot those kids at school.
And so you should.
If I could get near them.
That's why I like rugby at school. So I never understood the rules of rugby. I didn't like. I played for a team.
Clotheslines are legal.
All I knew was you pass it backwards, and that was it. Like everything else, if I wasn't given specific instructions, I was just going to either run with the ball or hit anyone with the ball. To the extent where I think I'd score a try and someone's like, "Oh no, because your foot's doing." Oh, I don't bloody know. But that's why I like rugby, because all the kids that were good at other, like I was good at football, but I don't know, I was always kind of quite broad and quite big, not the fast. I wasn't one of the whippet kids. So when it came to rugby, I could hit hard. And it was when I couldn't catch it at football, so I knew that I'd catch him next week at rugby.
I remember playing a game of football at high school, and then I was a midget at high school. I think in my last year of high school, I started it being about 5 foot tall, and I grew like 8-9 inches in the last year of high school. And there was a kid in our year called Mark Mully, who was a bit like you, Ross. He was a big, tall guy, quite broad, and we were playing football on a field or something, and he fouled me, and I was so angry. I turned around and I kicked him as hard as I could, right in the asshole, and then went, "That was a really fucking bad idea." As he turned around, and I went, "Run away, run away!" And I just belted it inside. Oh my god! I thought he was going to kill me.
I love that. I kicked him right in the asshole.
It was, honestly, it was not even it was just bang on the asshole. And yeah, if he'd have got a hold of me, I think he'd have definitely battered me.
Bang on target.
Yeah.
Hey,
I did apologise to him later in the day. So I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to do that.
But you also find that a lot,
because I turned around and I literally just kicked him straight in the anus. But you know, I apologise. I felt that was good enough.
A lot of competitive people though would actually accept that because you get the heat of the game. It's the ones who otherwise would just beat anyone up anyway. But no, and maybe just appreciate a good shot. It's like maybe if you did that, maybe you did that with the ball, then you know it could have been best friends.
Maybe be on the team more often. Yeah,
that's it. Yeah. That's it. Oh, I do hate the about kids. Kids these days aren't allowed to be kids. They've always got to be the next big thing, whether it's the next sports player, or the next Twitch person, or the next dance people. Like I see adverts for things like Dance Mums, is it, and that kind of show, and I just know that would make me the angriest, just so angry.
Yeah,
because even though it's for television and most of it's probably fake, just the thought that you'd put your kid, I get angry about like parents who make their kids do dances on TikTok. I don't do TikTok. I'm not a kind of I don't know what TikTok does apart from apparently give the Chinese all my information, and
it steals your life away from you.
That's
nose basically.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It's got all of my details.
I got rid of the app because I would probably lose 3 hours a day of my life to it when I had it before. Like, I literally sit there mindlessly scrolling through absolute. But there were maybe 10 accounts that I followed on there, and they were fantastic. And then I was just served up for the rest of it. Absolute fucking bullshit.
I've got it because every so often, usually when I'm drunk, I'm like, oh, I could do this with TikTok for the podcast. So I have it downloaded and then I delete it. I download, delete it. But if I go on it now, it's people dancing, and I don't like it. And okay, if you've got adults that are dancing, okay, that's fine. But then it's like the parents and their kids, and the mums are all like, "Oh, I'm 35, my daughter's 8. Can you tell us apart?" And then they do, or the dancing. I'm like, you are ruining your child's life. Like, there's your child is going to grow up thinking that likes on social media are some kind of validity of their existence. And just hug the child. Because I guarantee there's 10 takes of you calling that child for up the two-step. I don't know. It makes me angry. And it's the same as competitive parents with sports. Like, oh, we've got to look at this TikTok account. Oh, yeah, sorry, I get angry about it. Mainly because I hate people.
How many Cosbys do you know?
How many Cosbys? You put the sauce. Yeah.
Have you? My ex used to watch the pageant TV shows.
Oh,
like with the kids, and I was like, "What the are you watching?"
A lot of those shows are parents trying to relive the youth that they never got to have.
Yeah,
they're living
I think there is a lot of that
through their kids.
Yeah, there's a lot.
A lot. All I want is for my kids to have it better than I had when I was a kid, but not too much better that they become,
Souls.
Yeah. I want it to be good enough that they grow up to be vaguely normal people. As long as they have a better childhood than I had, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
I'm not going to force them to do anything they don't want to do. If you want to do a club, and you enjoy it twice, and then the rest of the term is a slog, I've paid for the term, so you're going to see it out. Yeah. But at the end of that term, you are more than welcome to drop that activity. My daughter tried football. She hated it. So we stopped doing it. I'm not going to make you do something you hate.
No.
Just because I like it. That's not the point. I'd love for you to play football. I think it would be cool. But if you don't want to play it, I'm not going to force you.
So my kids quite often say, "Oh yeah, but Dad, you do this, you did that, you were like this." That's fine. My job is not to make another me. My job is to make a better version of me, but you, like whoever you are, as long as you're better than I am. And so I do a lot
to break the cycle.
My daughter was mortified when I undid the window as I took her to work. She's 20. Took her to work today. And there was a group of college kids. And I shouted out the window, "Which way's the Taylor Swift concert?" Right? Harmless. Right? And they were like, "Ah!" And she was like, "Dad, what are you doing? Like, you're so embarrassing." I was like, "How is that embarrassing?"
That's part of your job description.
Everything I could do in life, it's so embarrassing. Oh God, you can't even do that. I'm like, wow, I've obviously been too good a parent. That's what upsets her.
Embarrassing your kids is part of the job description.
Yeah, and I did mention
that's definite to having kids.
She also doesn't like when I call old people, but that's different.
Look at Dorothy lining up for a pension at the post office with her ankles out.
Yeah. Well,
you 1930s hoe.
Dorothy gets an extra Diana plate at the Heart Foundation because she shows a knocker. That's what she does. Dirty.
Look
I
at
bet
the
they're not tights, are
veins
they?
on that, you.
They're not tights, are they? They're stockings and suspenders. Lady of your generation wouldn't be seen dead in tights.
Oh, Doris, that rice pudding you've been. Right. So the question is,
dust.
how do we? The question is, how do we make competitive parents better? Simon, your topic. Over to you first.
So, I mean, I take a similar view to Ross did with the car parking, to be honest. I think if you're a really competitive parent, then your child should be an automatic disadvantage. So basically, your child has to start 50 meters behind everyone else just because you're too competitive.
Yeah.
And then you're working against yourself, because if you're competitive, if you're ultra competitive, your child's going to miss out, and you're going to have to rein yourself in.
Yeah, otherwise, to wear 2 left boots on the football pitch.
Yeah. Otherwise,
or tie them with another competitive parent's child. Yeah. So it's like a 3-legged race, but playing football.
Yeah.
Like,
I think
more like you're penalising the children than the parents.
But you're not, though, because the whole point of them being this competitive is that they want to be able to show everyone how great their child is. So if you take that away,
make their child,
you take that away.
Yeah. So it is that whole, if you're a better parent, then your child gets treated better.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't necessarily agree with it, but I understand it. The perfect scenario would be, I'd actually just think ban parents from sporting events until they are, they can sit in the car, right? Until they're 16, right? Just keep parents out of it. Have proper feedback and stuff like that. That's far too sensible. And also, as I said, one of the caveats for the show is that you're not allowed to just eradicate the problem, and that is essentially eradicating the problem, right? So, the next, I suppose, progression from that would be kind of armed guards.
Well, I thought the other thing,
not guns,
I was going to
take cattle prods.
I was going to take like a Tango advert approach, right? So if there's a parent not quite, but if there's a parent on the sideline who is screaming at their child, someone comes up behind them with a megaphone and just basically drowns them out.
Can they berate them with insults?
Yes.
I love that idea.
Stop pushing your child, you absolute.
I love that. All the 8-year-olds, they're what?
With the megaphone. He's not a you're a
I think that's a winner. I'd like to do that, but can I also, like in the films, I don't know if this I don't know if this is a real thing, but like when the FBI kind of have fake money for a handoff, and they open the bag and there's blue and it stains.
Yeah.
Can that be thrown at the parent so they're stained and like shamed for the rest of the week?
You could maybe have
blue all over them.
You could have sound activated cannons along the side of the track. So you have sound activated cannons along the side of the track with blue dye or whatever, and then if the parents shouting their screams, face full of blue dye.
Blue dye, and then the megaphone comes up. He's not. You're a.
Yeah.
I think that's the winner, gentlemen.
I think that's good. I think that works.
I can get on board with that.
We'll probably have set the record for Geoff Jones and Friends make it better than most bleaked episodes.
Yes.
But it's been thoroughly enjoyable. We've made two things better. Ross's local Tesco's car parking dilemma, and parents who are way above the station and need to just shut the hell up a little bit. Be supportive. Fun wins. And murder helps at Tesco's.
Yeah.
Right, Jez.
In more ways than one.
Before we more ways than one. Murder's always an option. It just depends on where in the list of options that becomes.
Probably
Right.
shouldn't be number one.
Pardon?
Probably shouldn't be number one.
Not always.
From two down, solid.
Yeah. And for number one, always come to the Geoff Jones and Friends Make a Better podcast for an alternative. Look at that. That was almost professional.
You are
slick.
welcome.
In your face, Travis.
Slick. Yeah, Travis has got nothing on it.
The amount I mentioned Travis and the Bar Bands crew on this podcast, they owe me royalties. They do. I'm sure of it. Right, guys, and I'll be mentioning you two and the Who Takes the Socks Off podcast. I'm going to get it.
Yes, you got it.
On my podcast more often because you guys are hilarious. It's been a lot of fun. It's going to be an interesting edit. Quickly, before we round up, please hit us with the socials and the where to find you and the local Tesco's, which needs a serious reshaping. Don't worry. Start with the podcast.
Shall I do this last, or do you want to do it?
We'll start with the Tesco's. The Tesco's is Marshall Tesco's Extra. If you park like a there, I will find you, and I will
hunt you down like a dog.
I will find you, and I will kill you.
To be fair, Liam Neeson's made so many bad films. That would be one of them.
Yeah, true. The Tesco Avenger.
That's it.
It's a very particular set of skills, including trolley manipulation.
Yeah.
And the podcast, go.
So we're on, all the social platforms. Who Takes the Socks Off on all of them, apart from Twitter, which is Who Takes Socks Off. And podcast is on all good and crap streaming services. Part of the Channel 84 network, so you can find us on channel84.co.uk, where you'll find our bios and all of our links as well. That was even slicker than the last one.
That was perfect. That was
pretty good.
I prefer the first one.
Okay, I mean it's about the level of chaos you normally get from me.
Yeah. Well, John, look, it's been a very fun 2 episodes. I can't thank you enough for coming on. Look, we've made a couple of things better, maybe even more things, depending on how well stroke badly this is edited, because a lot of things were covered. But I can't thank you enough for taking time to come on and joining me and just making a couple of things in the world just a little bit better, because that's what I'm trying to do here. I'm just trying to make the world better, one episode at a time. Ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in between and outside, and literally whoever you are, I hope that you've enjoyed it. Thank you very much for coming on. You can
Thank you for having us.
Well, I was talking to the listeners now.
Oh, sorry.
No, you can thank me in a minute. So you've missed a cue. So you've basically just ruined the whole outro now.
Sorry.
Is he always like this, Ross?
Awkward.
It's pretty awkward now.
What a penis.
I'm gonna just. I'm gonna go now.
Well, Handy, you can't, because you got to say goodbye at the end. Come on, Simon, stop trying to ruin this for me. Go and fight you all. Oh, I'm trashing the place now. You got me angry. Right. Thank you very much. You can find the Geoff Jones and Friends Make a Better podcast on YouTube, all of your podcasting places, the good ones, not necessarily the bad ones, because they scare me. On Twitter, Instagram as @BetterWithJeff. I appreciate, yes, it does sound a little bit like some kind of cheap dating scam @BetterWithJeff. Also, I've got an email address of betterwithjeff@gmail.com, which sounds like I'm trying to facilitate some kind of porn for cash situation. I promise you I'm not. It was just badly thought out.
I thought that was how we were getting paid for this.
Yeah, well, that's in the contract. We don't.
Fine.
But yeah, basically, Make It Better was taken, believe it or not, by someone who does actually create porn. So they don't before I get sued. Anyway, right. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. Please come again and listen to the next episode. Listen to the previous episode. Listen to Who Takes the Socks Off podcast, because these guys are absolutely hilarious and do answer the serious questions in life. And all there is for me to say thank you, and it's goodbye from your host, Geoff Jones, and it's goodbye from Ross and Simon from the Who Takes the Socks Off podcast. God damn it! Say goodbye, Simon.
Bye, Simon.
Say goodbye, Ross.
Bye.
That'll do. Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Good night. Love you.